Alpha, you know what I need.
Teenagers with attitude.
That's correct, Alpha.
Teenagers with attitude.
What's up, bro?
Bring me your teens. Teenagers with attitude, clad in tightly colored costumes, book and skull. I ship them to while fecal dogs howl at the moon.
Rangers, I'm cultural here today. Listen to this awesome podcast that I found. Alpha, bring me my food.
Hey everybody, welcome to Teenagers with Attitude, the show where a bunch of grown adults sit around and talk about teenagers in tightly colored clothing fighting monsters. And oh boy, we get to see once and for all that the way to make somebody not evil is to make them blonde and wear, quote, normal clothes. That's how you do it.
I have written on my notes here, Zach, if you'll allow me. My notes here say, they trad-wifed astronomer?
Yeah, they sure did. I'm Zach, and joining me, as you might have heard, is Fabi.
Hello, nerds. It's the bear who watches Power Rangers.
Do you want to...
It's cute.
Okay. I mean, that is
Yeah.
correct, but if you wanted to take some time and think of something a little snappier, we could edit it
my
back
first
in.
instinct, legit, no joke, was to make a joke about my tits. But
Okay.
I feel like I've been doing that a lot, and you can only say my fat tits so many times before that loses its effect,
It
right?
definitely...
We just need different adjectives then. We need to figure
Yeah,
out some
you-
more
but-
adjectives.
But why? If they're true. Hi,
I feel-
this is me slapping them.
There you go. Great.
Hi,
Good audio.
welcome to ASMR. This is ASMR, right? That's what that is?
It stands for awesome
Me
super memories is what it
Me
stands
slapping
for.
my tits. This is comedy, right? This
Yeah.
is what people like?
We did
That
it.
should be
We
the
did great. And
episode
joining
title right
us-
there.
I mean, it's gonna be. And joining us for this very special episode is our friend Greg. How you doing?
I am good. Glad to be here.
Good. Perfect.
Greg is like, oh god.
We're really off to a
No.
good start. So there's a thing we do, and in fact, last episode, my wife got mad at me for not doing it, because she was excited to have an answer. But Greg,
Yes.
has anything Power Rangers related happened to you since the last time you were on?
I'm not going to fall into this trap, mainly because nothing immediately comes to mind, so the answer is no.
You did it. You solved the puzzle. So often people say yes, and they fail the test right there is the thing. Well, cool. Now
Zach, we have so much news we need to talk about.
we have a lot of news, and actually, one of the reasons I'm excited to have Greg on specifically is because I have a point of comparison with one of these news items. So let's just go ahead and get it out.
Just also adding to the news, I also want to talk a tiny
Yes.
bit
I
about
figured.
Battle for the Grid.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
I mean, the other thing is part of the news, but
Yes.
this is more Power Rangers. See, both of them.
Well, let's
but-
let's do the obvious one first. There's a gay
Yeah.
Power Ranger on the show. Now,
Yes.
they have obviously there was that thing with Trini in the 2017 movie where they sort of said she was gay, but not really. And, you know, we had that whole discussion about, like, does a gay character have to stare at the camera and say, hello, I am gay? But also it's...
There is a really good video by Barely Bitchy on video games and bisexuality. What makes a character bi? Are they mechanically bi or like canonically bi?
Okay. You should
Do
go
you
check
see
that
them
out.
be bi?
Right.
Or do they just say they're bi?
Yeah, there you go.
Do you watch it, Fabi, because it has bear in the title?
No, it's Verily with a V. I just can't
Oh, okay.
say words.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's my
But I
bad.
Does it
like,
have
That's
something
my
to do with
ancient ears.
vampires, maybe?
Okay.
but it was a good
See,
joke.
I thought you said
though.
bear.
I like
I thought
the
you said
joke.
barely. So
Yeah, listen.
Here's the thing: the two letters are similar in English
Mm-hmm.
because we have a bad language. But that said, so there was that. There's some gay rangers in the comics, which
Which I
Fabi-
love.
Yeah.
Yeah, the purple Solar Ranger and the orange Solar Ranger, but they never confirmed their gayness.
even
on-
though they like are clearly,
yeah, like it was like Twitter canon, which
Right.
is a thing I'm stealing from that video I mentioned, where like they're gay, but they're confirmed on Twitter, not on the page. They never kissed
Yeah.
on page.
Yeah.
that was like a year ago that they brought that up
a
on Twitter.
year or two ago. Yeah.
It's been a little bit, and also
Yeah.
as someone who's been catching up on the comics, they did bad with that stuff, so it
Yeah.
maybe doesn't really
had a lot
deserve.
of- It
But-
had a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I believe the first time they referred to each other as girlfriends or gay is in the mobile fighting game.
Yep, and also that character went crazy because of her trauma and
Oh,
turned
great.
evil and
That's
etc.
just
So
fun. That's
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Anyway, there is good stuff in the comics, but that part is not it. I think I was gonna mention it and then didn't, and so this is just gonna be very fast. One of the new Power Rangers is literally a cat. Like it's a tiger from an alien planet that can morph
that's
now,
right.
and that's pretty good. I like that.
alright, sure.
I like that they were just like, whatever. Who cares? You can morph now. Anyway, that said, so yes, we have the Green Ranger in Power Rangers. Dino Fury, Izzy Garcia, is confirmed for gay now. Confirmed for gay.
For gay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
like-
I do every morning when I wake up. I confirm for gay.
Yep. I used some weird language there. It's fine. Now, you said Twitter confirmed. This is interesting because so Simon Bennett, who is the showrunner for Power Rangers, has a pretty active Twitter presence talking to fans, and he did confirm, yes, this is gay. Somebody was like, whatever, this is just a marketing ploy. And obviously he can't say exactly, but it sure did sound like it was something they fought for and not something that the company was like, this will make us money.
Oh yeah, I never believed the marketing employee. Marketing employee at this point has become like a weird dog whistle for bigots.
Yeah.
Of calling something like about inclusiveness being a marketing employee.
Right.
Like no. Like if they didn't need to, they wouldn't. Like
Here's
this
the-
is usually people fighting for it.
Here's the way you know that's not true, which is that the Fast and Furious movies, which make a bajillion fucking dollars, mostly because of how like diverse they are, they are
thought
so
it was because of
huge and make
family.
so much. It's also that's the thing they understand, Greg, that family is all of us, right?
Yes.
And so they make a ton of money, but despite the fact that they are the only thing is big, well, I mean, not as big because they don't make as many, but they basically make as much as Marvel movies when they come out, but nobody is copying them. So, like, that's how you know the marketing ploy thing is bullshit, because even though you have obvious examples, people still don't do it, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
because there's somebody up, some executives who are like, no, straight white people, that's it.
I mean, here, I haven't talked about this in the podcast. Fucking stretch in. I'm gonna talk about Patio for a second.
Can we circle back to that real quick? Because
Yeah.
I wanted to finish my thought. So yes, he confirmed
We
that
should.
they are gay on Twitter, you know, whatever. But literally in the episode, no one's, again, kind of similarly, she does not go, yes, I am bisexual. Hello, my name is Izzy. But her brother, the whole episode, thinks she has a crush on a guy. And then at the end, essentially, he's like, but I thought you had a crush on whatever. Or no, he says it to another character. And Zato, the Red Ranger, is like, she does have a crush on somebody. Look. And then you turn around and she is talking
Holding
to
hands.
another girl and holding hands, and like they are going on a date. It is extremely clear without them
Yes.
saying.
It pans to the rest of the Rangers. The
Right.
Pink Ranger's going like, "Oh my god, cute!"
Yes, it's not. It's one of those things where it's possible that like Nickelodeon's S&P wouldn't let them say like, you know, oh, she's dating another girl or whatever. Like maybe there was some dialogue that they couldn't say, or maybe not. Maybe they just didn't feel like they needed to lay it out that obvious. But it doesn't feel like they're being coy, I guess, is my way.
Is she, a Green Ranger?
Right, exactly. And oh yeah, and I guess to say this is the same character, Izzy, who ripped her skirt off of
Yes.
her suit earlier in this season, which also made a little bit of a
Butch
shockwave on the
representation.
internet. Yeah, yes. So, and then I mean, I don't want to get into this too much, but obviously there are a lot of people in the Power Rangers community that are gay or queer or in other ways, you know, in the LGBTQ community who were super excited. I mean, I was very happy. I thought it was very, very cool. And then you immediately get the backlash from chuds who are shitty assholes who don't want anything. Man, the Power Rangers neckbeards always weird me out because it's like they've been inclusive since the very first one. I don't understand what you anyway.
It's because of their neckbeards, and then their neckbeards about everything, right?
Right.
So they just like, oh yeah, no, this is this politics in my Power Rangers.
It's like,
the
do you
old Power Rangers didn't have politics.
It's like, do you remember how half the episodes in the first Power Rangers are about like how you should accept other people who aren't like you? Like literally explicitly that? No? Okay, whatever. I get it. But the weird one that I saw was, oh, she's yeah, sure, we have a gay ranger, but she plays soccer and she's sporty. So like that's a stereotype. And I'm like, fuck off. Yes, because there are those people. Like, what are you talking about? What do you
Yeah,
want?
it's one of those things where like people sometimes don't know what the fuck the word stereotype means.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I literally, the first thing I did, shout out to my friend Chelsea, who will never listen to this, but hey, shout out. The first thing I did when I found out was text my Latino butch lesbian friend who plays soccer, hey, you're in Power Rangers. And she was like, hell yeah. So like sure, a stereotype, I guess, but also it's representation of like a real person who exists. So like, it's fine. Stop it. But yeah, so that was cool. And like basically that same week, Fabi, I don't know as much about this because it happened and then I got very sick, so I have not been on the internet that much, but I did see you posting about it. Tell me about what High School Heroes?
The show's called The High School Heroes. It's produced by Toei. It's a toku show, but it's not technically a Sentai show. It's the closest thing I could compare it to would be Akiba Ranger, yet it's not.
Okay.
It's not as much as a straight parody of that. It takes itself very seriously. If I would call it anything, it's a love letter to the original Go Ranger.
Okay.
So much to the point that the Red Go Ranger shows up
that's
many
cool.
times. The main character like sees them like they're like his imaginary friend, and
cool.
also like the show does constant callbacks and shots. Like there's a point when they're like, okay, this person should be the Yellow Ranger. Why? Because they eat ramen the best way. Have you seen them eat ramen? The Yellow Ranger and Gold Ranger ate ramen really good.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so
They've done a couple
one-
like that. There's Akiba
Yeah.
Ranger, which is like a very
Yeah.
clear parody, but they've also, and I just Googled it because I thought I had the name, but apparently I'm wrong. There is another Toei produced not Sentai that's called like Work Time Heroes or something, where it's like it's a not Sentai where everybody like goes to work and then at the end of the day they're superheroes, like Agretsuko kind of
yeah.
ish. So they've done that kind of thing before where they're like,
Yeah.
look, this is
So-
not in the main line, but it is a Sentai show, basically.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It seems to be kind of like this is based in our world. Like, Go Ranger was a TV show.
Okay.
Sorry. Go Ranger was a TV show. They don't mention any other Sentai shows. So it's like, this is from like a world where only Go Ranger existed. And it came out when Go Ranger came out. And the main character's dad really liked it. And then so he really watched it a lot. But also monsters are real, and there's an app on your phone that lets you transform into a superhero or a monster, depending on the app.
Okay.
If you've seen Kamen Rider Force,
Yeah.
Force, it's very much that, like teenagers who are having teenager problems get like taken advantage of by people and given this weird app to turn into monsters.
Okay.
And then the show, I believe it's gonna be 8 episodes long, and each of the first 4 or 5 episodes are all about like one of the Rangers each. They like slowly get them together. And in the background, the last one to join them, but is in the show the whole time. Her name is Ichika. She is presented first as like kind of like the gay best friend of like the girl in the group.
Okay.
And then so like, but like she is very feminine. She works like at a little shop near the school, and she has like a cute rabbit outfit, like a cute like rabbit apron. It's really cute. And then she henshins like in episode 3 or 4 near the end, and she gets beaten by the monster, but she like saves her friend. And then the next episode she talks about how her friend is the only person she had ever come out to, and that transforming into that hero was the first time she felt free. Like the only other time that she didn't feel oppressed was when she came out to her friend. And then the other time was like doing the henshin, like doing the transformation. It's really cute. It's like basic stuff.
Yeah,
but like it's well done.
Yeah, that's the thing is like when you can. I mean, it sucks that we're here, but it's like when you can recommend it and be like, no, they really don't fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
it's they do a good job.
There's a scene where they're trying to find out because the one girl who's been on the show gets hurt, and they're like, oh, we need a girl so that we're all 5 because we need the pink one. That's the only one missing, and that's always a girl. And then they're all like, oh, I wish Ishika was a girl, and like her face gets so happy, and they're like, but she's not. She's a guy.
Oh,
and
no.
She like her face drops and she leaves. It's really good stuff. She like finally transforms, and then like at the end after like the big fight or whatever, they have a scene where her like explaining to everyone like, hey, I'm a girl, like I'm trans, and then like the Red Ranger who like was calling her a guy before, didn't know, like apologizes, like I apologize for saying a lot of insensitive things, and then This show's good. I would recommend it. The Red Ranger's a fucking hembo.
Good.
He's
They
an
should be.
idiot.
Yeah.
He's great.
It's
He's
always
like,
a good indication on a series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, have you told your parents? And she's like, no, I don't think I'm ready to come out of the closet to them. And he's like, okay, when you do, I'll be there. I'll come out of the closet with you.
Aw.
And then he goes, wait, I don't know if that would help, but I got carried away. I just want to help. And I was like,
Aw.
oh, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
So yeah.
That's
it's really
awesome.
good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time for LGBT stuff in Power Rangers.
Yeah, just heads up. As far as I know, she is played by a cis dude. But it's if this is a cis dude, because I don't know their gender, but if this is a cis dude, this is like the first time I haven't felt uncomfortable with a cis dude playing
That's
a
good.
trans character.
There may. I mean, I know there have been a couple Kamen Rider actors who
Yes,
came out as
there's
non-binary.
a trans
like,
man.
yeah.
Well, he just came out as trans.
Okay.
As a trans dude.
yeah.
Like
So-
last month.
So I wonder if you may never know.
The only reason I think he might be cis is because all the Power Rangers and the main like villain, or like the villain ranger basically, are all part of a boy band
Oh,
who
interesting.
sing the opening and ending theme. Like a pre-established boy band. Like this is basically like a vehicle for them.
That's
But
cool.
it's really good for a vehicle.
Hey, that's a thing.
Yeah.
I've been talking about K-dramas on the show
Mm-hmm.
a fair bit. I don't know as much about Japanese culture. I'm always hesitant
Mm-hmm.
to say anything about it, but at least in K-drama stuff, like a whole genre, like a whole tab on the streaming service we have is just called idol dramas, and it literally
Mm-hmm.
is a genre that exists to be TV
Yeah.
show vehicles for musicians. So I don't know if that's also
wow.
a thing there, but
Yeah, it's interesting because there's not that much like singing in the show. One of the characters is a dancer, and that's about it. They sing the intro and the outro song.
one of my favorite ones we've watched is called Hotel del Luna, and the lead actress is a musician, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't sing in it at all. It's literally just like she's like a couple of the songs are by her, but you wouldn't necessarily know that.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Anyway, that's the High School Heroes. It's not silly. I think that's underrepresented. I think it's a good show and it's worth watching. Episode 3 I wasn't a fan of just because it didn't hit me personally. But otherwise, every other episode, and especially the trans stuff, has been amazing. So I would really recommend that if that's your cup of tea.
Well,
That's
there you
awesome.
go. And so now I wanted to roll into well, both of you really, but Greg, I know you've been a fan longer. The reason I wanted to ask you, because Power Rangers, we talked about how, like, yes, this is the first gay character on the TV show. They've done it in like the comics, and I feel like that's something that a lot of properties do, where they'll be like, yeah, we have fans who want everything to be more inclusive, so we put some, there's like a gay character in the comic or whatever, and then it's always like it takes a little while for it to jump to the show. I really don't know much about Transformers at all, but I know
I
that
am holding
yes.
Anode and Lug in my hands.
So I was going
am
to say,
holding
I know
the
based
plushies
on
of Anode and Lug.
based on my
I
friends that there are gay LGBTQ characters in at least the comics. But I was going to ask both
Yes.
of you, like, are there in the shows as well? Has that crossed over into like the TV show, or
I
is it
suppose I
mostly
can
the-
get into this now since the last episode
Yeah.
of Kingdom we've reviewed. Yes. Well,
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
it's not it's not like they come out and say it, but
Right.
I mean, it's pretty much everything except outright saying it.
Right.
The character Black Arachnia, which was from the 90s cartoon, had
Yeah.
a romantic relationship with Silverbolt in that cartoon. He's
Right.
not in Kingdom. However, she does reference finding RC cute, who is a female
Okay.
character. Flirts a lot with Airazor, who is also a female character.
Okay.
And in fact, gives her a peck on the cheek at one point when she saves her. So it's heavily implied, if
Yeah.
not outright told, that, hey, this is a bisexual character. And, I thought they treated it well, without, making it big bang,
Right,
bells
yeah,
and
of
whistles
course.
type deal. And really, surprisingly, there wasn't a lot of talk about it online. Because that was one of the things that I really tried to keep an eye on in preparation for us reviewing this season. There wasn't I don't think a lot of people watched Kingdom because there really wasn't a lot of talk
That's
about
the other
it.
thing.
But I thought it was very interesting. I thought it made sense, from the standpoint of the character. And really, I thought that they did a good job just overall in sort of introducing that, but not making it such like this explicit, hey, this character's bi, and that's going to be like, not making it a trope. I guess
And
is
making
the
it,
big thing.
it seems like making it feel like it's not like, it doesn't feel like they just decided. It was just like,
Yeah.
oh, here's a thing you just didn't know about this character. Like they kind of introduced it naturally, which is cool.
And there was no,
I'm
there
just
was
here in my
no
corner.
reaction. There was no,
That's interesting.
Like there was no reaction from the other characters of like surprise or
Okay,
anything like
gotcha.
that. It was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like she would comment like, oh, I find this one cute, and that was it. So
Go ahead, Fabby.
I'm just saying, I'm just here in my corner yelling at Hasbro to make toys of Anode and Lug, the canon transgender lesbians from the comics, because I have the plushies that I got on Etsy. Make toys of her. I want trans Indiana Jones and her backpack wife. I need this in my life.
That's one of the things that's always
yeah.
interesting to me about Transformers when you talk about relationships, because it's like, this one is a cassette tape that lives inside this one. And it's like, the power dynamics of this are weird. I don't know about that, but
Listen, you know queer relationships. Sometimes you transform into a backpack that your wife puts things on. I don't think this is weird at all.
so go ahead.
Yeah. I think I always loved about them, and if they ever do trans characters in a different Transformers canon, which technically RC is also trans, but we're not
Yes.
going to get into that today.
That I was gonna say, I know about that one. I've seen the comic panels where like, and this is this might be a trigger warning. I don't even know how to describe it really.
She was written by a dude, and then years later, a different writer had like trans people talk to him, and he kind of made it better.
yeah.
Yeah, well, from what I understand, originally RC was the first like canon woman Transformer, right? Who like identified as a woman, and they didn't know how to handle that in the fiction at the time.
Yes, they made it so that she was forcibly
Like
trans.
experimented on, right? Yeah.
Yes,
like a
Yeah.
but
fucked
then
up Smurfette thing, basically. Yeah.
Years later, it got retconned, but that she was always a woman. She always wanted to be a woman, and this person twisted that into doing experiments on her.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm
but
glad.
like my point with RC and Lug, not RC, sorry, Anode and Lug, is that the way that they talk about their transness is like one of them had changes done to their body, to their shell, to their body, and the other one didn't. Like, one of them was like, no, I'm a girl, but I didn't have anything change, and the other one was like, oh, I did have some things change because of my transition. And I always like that.
Yeah, that's
I thought it
that's
was
a
really
nice
cool.
analogy where it's like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like,
Exactly.
why would I have to if I didn't want to? Yeah. And thus ends the second time we've talked about Black Arachnia in like 3 episodes, so that's good. Eventually I'm going to have to
She's a great
defend
character.
Silverbolt apparently because people keep shitting on Silverbolt.
Aww. He's a lovable goof.
Listen, here's the thing. He's an idiot, and I understand that. I get it. Silverbolt's dumb as hell, but he's a sweet boy. I don't know. He's what is the thing people say about paladins in D&D? He's lawful stupid. Yeah, he is.
Yes.
That's true. You're not wrong, but I
if I
love him
remember-
anyway.
if I remember correctly, I watched a video once of his voice actor, because the voice actor for Silverbolt does 4 characters in the 90s series. He did Rat Trap, Dinobot, Silverbolt, and Waspinator.
Oh, wow.
And anytime that
that's
he talked,
impressive.
and anytime that he talked about Silverbolt, he's like, brave, courageous, dumb as a sack of hammers.
Yeah, he's dumb. That's on purpose. It's not like they didn't know he's stupid. It's
Oh, yeah.
fine. All right. So we're 30 minutes in. We've talked about all the. Well, actually, we haven't talked about all the news. Oh boy.
No.
But let's go through the rest of it fairly quickly. Simon Bennett talked about him a little bit earlier. Showrunner for Power Rangers. He did tweet out. Well, actually, first of all, I want to note that he started this thread by saying that he was 2 bottles into red wine, which I just think is a very funny way to announce that you're drunk on the internet.
Always a great way to start a Twitter thread.
Yeah. It's not like he was like, I'm smashed AMA. He was like, I've had 2 nice bottles of vintage red. Now ask me Power Rangers questions. And people asked him like what of the past Sentai had a good chance of being turned into Power Rangers, because they did do Go Busters like way after, like years and years later. They turned it into Beast Morphers. And he didn't confirm anything, but he did say some that wouldn't happen. And the 3 he listed were Tokyuger, which is the train Sentai. I understand that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that sucks because it's cute. It's really cute.
I keep saying they need to make it like a RPM sequel, and then in the future of RPM, they just like there's trains everywhere.
Yeah.
They rebuilt the world
Well,
with trains.
his thing was trains just like don't click with kids in America the way they do in Japan, probably because we have a shitty infrastructure. And also that Sentai is aimed at like literally like 4-year-olds, like very, very young. So that wasn't going to work, which I get, but it's a bummer.
It's almost like Car Ranger, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
'cause
it's
big
almost
on
a
safety.
parody. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes. He said, and I'm sorry, he didn't list the name, and I can't. It's like Patter Ranger versus Lupin Ranger,
Lupin Ranger, yeah.
which is
Lupin Ranger.
the one where it's 2 teams and one's cops and one's robbers. And he basically was like, "We are not touching that with a 10-foot pole."
Yeah.
If you'll recall, Simon Bennett said that they had rewritten the Black and Green Ranger's dad in the new series from a cop to a park ranger because of current like police brutality shit in the United States. So he was like, no, we're not going to have cop rangers. Not going to happen. And then also he said, but also at the same time, like, we're not going to do literally like thief rangers. That's not going to happen.
Which I think that would be an interesting.
I think it'd be interesting. I think, again, you have to remember that this is aimed at really like between 6 and 10-year-olds. So it's like a tough sell. But
Carmen Sandiego was big.
yeah, that's true. Love Carmen
it-
Sandiego.
I mean,
And
we've already sort
Go
of
ahead.
kind of had a police Well, I mean, we sort of kind of had
We
a
had
couple
several
of them.
police
Yes,
ones.
we
I
have.
mean, we had SPD.
We've had numerous police ones.
Yes,
Yeah, and
SPD. We've talked about it a bunch of times. I think it'd be hard to
Yeah.
sell SPD now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're right. That said, last one, Q Ranger, which it's KYU Ranger, which if you haven't seen these, you should Google it because it's basically my favorite Sentai
It has some
visual.
amazing designs.
Because it lets the Rangers have different body types, which is cool.
Yeah, it's based on the Zodiac.
Yes. And he
I remember
essentially
correctly.
said, look, that's cool. They look great. We almost broke it in Dino Charge trying to have that many Rangers, and this is
Yeah.
more. Because it's like, it is, I want to say, like, is it 13? It's 12 or 13
I was going to say it's
Rangers.
12 or
And they're-
13.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
believe it's more like straight out of a gate.
Yes, yes. It
so,
starts
yeah.
with like all of them, and he was just like, "We can't. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. I don't think we could make it work." So with those
Yeah,
out
you would have
off
like
the
half
table,
a season
like
dedicated to like character episodes.
yeah. So with those off the table, it's like a slightly less number of Sentai, but because we've been doing this like 2 series in a row of the same show in America, there's still like a backlog that they could pick from. So there's still a lot, even with those off the table, that they could do. But I thought that was interesting. It was nice. It was cool to see those, like that logic. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's a bummer, but like, I get it. I understand why you're not going to do that one. Okay. And then last thing before we talk about the show, which good news, at least for me, I don't know. This episode, it's fine, but it's pretty quick. So you wanted to talk really quick, Fabi, about Bow for the Grid?
Yeah. Only thing is that the big box came in for my girlfriend ordered the big box. It has the Wizard of Deception, which is incredibly funny to me.
Yes.
As one of the masterminds. He has his shitty Predator mask painted.
Nice.
If you don't remember, the Wizard of Deception is
How
like
could you forget?
maybe
first of
the
all?
laziest monster they've ever done in Power Rangers. It's literally a Predator mask and a cloak, and they like, and that's
and
it.
like a wig.
And then for yeah,
Yeah.
and then for some reason they put him in the comics as like fairly important. And so because that happened, now they're like, oh, we got to put the Wizard of Deception and stuff. And it's like, but he looks bad. Like, I'm sorry. It's not a good design. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, that's basically it. It's bad. There's some cool comics. Rita is in there. A couple other cool stuff. I have Tengas now, which everyone who knows me will know how happy that makes me.
Tingas are good.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're introducing
Police
another
too?
Zord into the game as well, aren't they? I want to say I thought that they were
They
bringing in
use
like
Zords
the.
all the time.
I think they announced that they're bringing in the Graveyard Zord from the comics.
Yes, that's in the box. That is Kimberly. Good Ranger Slayer Kimberly, who's also in the box, is her sword is the Graveyard Sword.
yeah, it's like a bunch of busted up Zords and made into a Megazord. Yeah, it's cool. Nice. And then
Has an okay ability. Copy any other sword that's in play.
Well, that's pretty cool. And then I guess last thing I'll mention is that is it Battle for the Grid? Wait, which one's the video game? The fighting
Battle
game?
for the Grid.
Yeah.
You fight in video games. You are heroes in board games. That's how you keep them
Okay.
separated.
In Battle for the Grid, they just put out Ninja Ranger Adam, which is cool. I think that rules because it's one of the only like non-morphed characters. Or human characters, and they gave him some of that weird shit that they would do in the ninja outfits in the show. So that's cool.
There's no getting
Okay.
big though.
No,
I
that's true.
watched
He
that
doesn't get huge and Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching the
forgot
video.
that
I'm
he
like,
did that,
does he turn
but-
huge? Does he turn huge?
Those fight scenes were so weird. I
Yeah.
understand that they're from the Sentai and they were trying to play off of all the like weird ninja magic, but they're weird fight scenes. All right, we're 40 minutes in. Let's talk about Power Rangers, the TV show. This is season 1, episode 29, Dark Spectre's Revenge, part 1. And we open on Andros showing Astronema around the ship, and sorry if you are for some reason tuning into just this episode, Astronema is good now, so don't worry about it. He is showing her the mess hall, and he's like, "Here's the Synthetron. You can make any kind of food you like." And then
No, you need to say he first. I didn't write it down. He says something so dumb like, "This is the service station where we service things."
he says,
Oh,
"This
yes.
is the work bay where we do work and
Yeah.
repair." Yes, and
Listen,
yeah,
one, this dumb motherfucker. Two, he's so bad at acting.
he's bad.
He's so bad at acting.
He's not good. He then says, "You can make any kind of food you like," and then shows her the nastiest shit I've ever seen.
It's fine.
I know it's supposed to be space food, but it's gross and I don't like it.
It looks like those dollar store gummies that you'd find around Halloween.
Oh yeah, where it's like, here's a gummy hamburger for some reason, and you're like,
Yeah.
no, just make the normal gummy shapes, please. But she's like, no thanks. It's gonna take me a little bit to get used to all this. It's a very different life. And she's like, Andros is like, I'm sorry, but I'm just so excited to have you here. And he's overjoyed to have his sister back. Deca comes on the intercom and says, Corone, please report to the bridge. The Rangers want to see you. And she's like, oh, great. They probably voted to throw me into the nearest black hole because we're all playing Among Us, I guess, on the spaceship. And Andros, Fabi, speaking of cannot act, he's like, there is one nearby. And because of his acting being so bad, I literally couldn't tell if he was kidding or if he's just really stupid. And I don't know which is the answer. Well, he says he's kidding, but
Yeah, he
who knows?
does say he's kidding, but at the same time, it's like, didn't really know at first.
Yeah, it's like, no, you just said that, and then you saw Astronema's face and decided to backtrack. Now, speaking of good acting, they go up to the bridge, and Astronema walks in and sees all of the Rangers standing in a line and just goes, hi, everybody. And that really cracked me up. I like that a lot. She's just like, okay, what can I do for you? And they're faking you out. They're like, we've all been talking and we've reached a very important decision and this is going to be a big deal. And based on your actions, we've decided to make you an honorary Power Ranger. Which means that she gets one of their out of morph uniforms. And so they hand it over to her and it's pretty cute. They all give her a big hug. She does a pretty good job of acting very uncomfortable but appreciative, which is good. Where she's like, yeah, yay, but also I don't know how to deal with affection. This kind of thing in shows for little kids where someone's defected, it's like it's always a little tough because it's like, well, you can't show that this person is broken inside and doesn't know how to operate in normal society. That's too serious for little kids. But also, you want to show that they're a little awkward, and I think they do a good job with it. We cut to the bad guy ship, and Ecliptor is walking around and gets waylaid by some Quantrons, and This is creepy. I don't like this.
Yeah, this scene was.
It gave me a vibe of like a prison. Like it feels like he's gonna get shanked. Like he just gets jumped.
He gets jumped, and these Quantrons strap him down to like a dentist chair, and I say dentist chair because it's a chair that one of the Quantrons like cranks a wheel on, and it like lowers the back down, and then fucking Darkonda comes out with like a space stethoscope on his head, like he's about to play doctor. And he's like,
I don't want him as my doctor.
No, me neither. And he's like, hello, I'm going to modify.
Aha, you have sued me for malpractice, technically, but technically I have 8 other medical licenses. I just cross one out.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm all good.
Yeah, Darkonda got all of his degrees online from Phoenix University. And he's like, hello, I'm going to change your programming. Here is my just horrifying instrument that, like, I do really think they are, like, small children are going to watch this. What are little kids afraid of? The dentist. Because that's kind of the vibe. And he pulls out this, like...
Yeah, because he pulls out this thing that looks like a candelabra. Like, it's huge. And he's like, open up. I'm like, open what? I'm like, is there like a third orifice that he has that is like going to accommodate this thing? Because that doesn't fit anywhere I know.
Yeah, he's like, say ah. And it's like, well, first of all, Darkonda or Ecliptor just has like a sculpted mouth, but also that thing is like 3 feet long. What are you talking about? And he pushes a button on it and it starts spinning, and it does make like a dentist drill noise. And I didn't like this scene. It's creepy.
No.
Also, Fabi, we've talked about it before. I'm just like, I think Darkonda was like pretty effective for a while, and now I'm like mad that he's winning. I guess like I'm like, fuck this guy. He sucks.
Yeah, it just sucks because like it makes his other deaths meaningless.
Right.
Because it's just like, yeah, he's around. He's gonna keep being around.
Yeah.
He sucks.
But yeah, so he essentially explains he's going to fix Darkonda, or sorry, he's going to fix Ecliptor. Then we cut to, as you said, Trad wife, Corone. Corone comes on to the...
This is homophobia right here. They took off her eyeshadow. They took off her wigs. They took off all her accessories and her chains. She has like blonde hair, which I think is dyed. Maybe that's the character, the actors, but it feels very like, okay, take off your wigs and dye your hair blonde.
It's either dyed or she has like dirty blonde hair. I can't really tell. But good
American girl.
Yeah, she's you know, I'm sure this is just what the actress looks like. It's just like, it's a little weird to be like, no, the wig is evil. Like the wig, I mean, like we talked about, it's aesthetics, right? Yeah. Like, I guess.
Why couldn't she wear the wig and be good? Yeah. Why couldn't she wear eyeshadow and be good?
Yeah. And even someone says like, wow, what a difference. And I'm like, what's wrong with makeup? I don't understand. Yeah. Like, what's the problem? Now that said, that's all the bad things out of the way. Her uniform implies that were she to morph, she would be the Purple Ranger.
That's neat.
Which is cool, and we will get one, you know, in a decade. But I did like that part. So we do cut back
perhaps
to
some foreshadowing.
I mean, I think purple is one of the, because I always think about it. It's like, okay, well, the only obvious colors that they hadn't done for a decade are like, that aren't just so close that it's not different, right? Because they do like a aqua blue ranger, but they just call him the Blue Ranger because it's not like, It's not far enough away to be a different color. It really was orange and purple are the only that always felt like obvious, and there still hasn't been an Orange Ranger, but there has been purple. So
Yeah.
there you go.
But I'm not gonna. I can't spoil the next season yet.
Oh,
'Cause-
oh, right. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah,
Yes.
fair. So, we cut back to Darkonda talking to Dark Spectre, and he's like, "Okay, now good job fixing Ecliptor. Now next thing is we're gonna destroy Earth." So it's like, cool. Priorities, I guess. We cut over to Bulk and Skull. Oh my god, they're still alive.
The boys are back in town.
I don't know that I've mentioned it, but they've been in the credits. They never left the credits, but like they've been so rarely.
It's our three favorite characters: Bulk, Skull, and Phenomena. Is that his name?
Professor
Phenomenoi?
Phenomenus.
Phenomenus?
Yeah.
Phenomena.
Phenomena. Professor
da,
Phenomena.
da, da, da,
Phenomena. Phenomena.
God damn it. He is they're sitting
Keep doing it.
they're sitting around. It's infectious. They are sitting around in the desert, and basically Bulk says, why are we out here just watching for aliens? Like, we did a bunch of fun experiments, and now all we're doing is sitting in the desert making marshmallows. And Skull
apparently
says
that's
that
something
the only
they
thing
do
he's caught
every
is a
night.
cold. Right, that's what I'm saying. I feel like this is a sideways explanation for why in the early episodes, Phenomenus kept making fun inventions, and now they haven't been in it forever because they're just looking for aliens every night. Professor Phenomenus has a big telescope he's looking through. He screams, and they're like, "Oh no, a UFO!" And he's like, "No, I burned my tongue on the marshmallow. I hurt myself because I'm an idiot."
I have caused myself physical harm.
Yeah. Then Phenomenus spots an asteroid, and they're like, "Oh, cool!" And he then explains that actually it's not cool because it is headed directly for Earth, and that they will all die. This episode gets weird. Like, obviously, Power Rangers always involves bad guys that are trying to, ostensibly destroy the Earth or enslave the Earth. But I feel like it's usually like so vague, or, it's Zed saying like, I want to take over Earth, but like they don't really get specific, or I'm going to destroy you or whatever. This like literally shows Professor Phenomenus, he's describing what would happen if this I keep trying to say astronomer, if this asteroid hits Earth, and he's like, no, it'll be like 100 hydrogen bombs, and it'll be so tremendous that the Earth would cease to exist, and like it literally like shows cities being destroyed as he's describing this. And what's fucked up is they do this again later. They really want you to understand that everyone will die.
How grave the situation is.
And it's funny too because it's like if they took that scene from Terminator 2, but it was from like a C grade movie. That's sort of like the scenes that we get.
Yes. Yeah, and also then they. Good.
I thought because it was Bulk and Skull and Phenomenus, when I first saw this scene, my thought was, oh, the gag is going to be that it's not an actual asteroid. It's really just this really small rock that burns up on entry.
Yes. Yeah, that's totally a good point because they're so dumb. Like, Phenomenus has obviously actually made inventions, but he's also an idiot. So you would sort of think the joke would be because they're going to go to what's it called? Nasada. And I did sort of think, he was going to tell them and they're going to be like, that's a golf ball, or, you know, some joke like that. But nope, he's correct, and they're all going to die. So we do cut back up to the Rangers, the megaship. Megaship is experiencing some turbulence because there's a huge asteroid next to them. So they go into evasive maneuvers. And then Dark Spectre shows up on their communicator and is like, "What's up? You took my girl." That I still don't really know why Dark Spectre cares so much about Corone / Astronema. I mean,
I still think it's just for appearances, like
just like we can't let someone on our team turn, or it'll
if they were slightly better or slightly worse writers, they would have made this a weird thing with him and Corone.
Where he's like obsessed with Corone for some reason. Yeah.
Like my princess or whatever. But this is like the exact range where like they weren't trying to do more than that, and they weren't too hack to go the other way.
It's just go ahead.
There is one part that I did enjoy because Ash is like, yeah, well, your asteroid missed. He's like, fuck you. I'm not aiming for you. I'm aiming for Earth.
Yes, yeah. They're like, well, you missed us. And yeah, like you said, Dark Spectre is like, why would I aim at you with an asteroid? That's ridiculous. No, it's going to kill Earth. And that's very funny, but like in terms of Dark Spectre being kind of sassy. But it does also beg the question that if Dark Spectre can shoot asteroids at Earth, why did he not do that at the very beginning of the season? Because that seems pretty powerful. Good power if you can do that. So yeah, he explains, no, if you don't give me Corone back, this asteroid's going to blow up Earth. He doesn't really explain how he'll stop the asteroid if they give her back. But they decide, no, fuck you, we're going to blow it up ourselves. So they try to shoot it with the megaship in, okay CGI for this show. It's fine.
Yeah, it feels very... This whole scene feels pointless. It felt like a waste of time to me. Because, it doesn't accomplish anything, and it didn't really, give me stakes or anything.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's a little weird about whenever they do stuff with the megaship is, often the action scenes exist to sell toys. Mm-hmm. And they did make a megaship because it turned into the Megazord, obviously. But, when you're doing the action scenes where it's the megaship just shooting at rocks, it's I don't know, this feels both fillery and also not like an effective advertisement. So it's I
don't know who is this for?
Right. They decide that, so they shoot it. You do see the scale. It's a very big asteroid. So the guns won't work. And so they decide what they're going to do is Armageddon this shit, and they're going to call Bruce Willis, and they're going to put bombs on the asteroid.
They're going to drill.
Yeah, they're going to drill it.
Has any of the Megazords so far have drills? Is there anyone they could have called?
Well, I mean, Andros has a drill, but it's just
go in there, Andros, and just fuck it up.
Yeah, but it's just Andros sized, so maybe it's too small. But yeah, they get these detonators.
Small drill humiliation.
Yeah, and just start planting detonators all over the asteroid. And then they get attacked by the Velocifighters.
In all fairness, the detonators do have drills on them.
That's true. They have their own built-in drills, which is some good technology. But yeah, they're getting strafed by fighters while they're trying to set these, and then Quantrons also show up with Arconda. So it's kind of a bad scene. And TJ and Andros are like, okay, we're gonna take care of the Quantrons and continue planting the bombs. and you guys get in the Zords and take out the Velocifighters. There is a pretty fun Andros like just using his gun fight against the Quantrons, which is kind of cool that we don't get to do that often. And TJ is planting the bombs. As you said, they do have their own little drills on them, and we get to see that. Carlos and the rest of the Rangers get into their individual Zords, which they do have. Remember, they're basically just little spaceships, and so we get to see a little bit of a spaceship on Velocifighter fight, the Zord on Velocifighter fight. It's okay. It's very brief. I'm sure it was probably more expensive than anything else. So
yeah, the CGI for the Velocifighters this time around looked pretty decent compared to like earlier in the season.
It's not that bad. Yeah, like they do an okay job, and it's interesting because it looks. I'm pretty sure what they're doing is using footage from the Sentai for the Zords, and then like original footage for the fighters. Yeah. So it's like chopped together, but it looks fine. It's very brief and it works. They set the bombs, and then something cracked me up, which is Andros finishes shooting all of these Quantrons, and he comes over to TJ and he's like, "Okay, TJ, how are we doing?" And he's like, "We're all set. We have a couple seconds." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Excuse me?"
Yeah.
TJ, no.
TJ. And they run away, and literally like the whole asteroid starts exploding while their Zords come down to get them. And I was just like, I feel like you didn't time this correctly, but I guess you're fine. At least you got off there. They do that fun thing where I'm pretty sure it's literally the exact same footage, but the little Gundam that is Andros's mech rides on the big rocket that is TJ's Zord. And they're able to get away, get back up to the ship, and whoops, detonators just didn't work. Sorry. That was, I understand it's to heighten tension, but also we did just need 4 minutes of show. So that's fine. They decide, okay, well, we're out of ideas, and Caron's like, "Nope, not yet. I got an idea. I'm going to go over to the Dark Fortress and, quote, reprogram the asteroid," which is good, because she says that the asteroid is...
Yeah, that's what the thing you do with asteroids.
Right,
yeah.
She says the asteroid is programmed to hit Earth, so she's going to...
Remote program.
Right. So she's going to go change its
do all the
programming,
hacking.
and they're like, absolutely. Yeah, she's going to do the hacking. They're like, no, we can't lose you, never. And then she's like...
That's not how asteroids work, Carl, no.
And then she's like, but I can do it. And Andros is like, okay, fine. What do we have to do? So then we cut to Balkan Skull going to Nasada, in their van, and they sneak onto this just extremely poorly guarded military base yet again. Also, they see the commander, who's Commander Norquist, who we've met before, and he is driving around with a whole bunch of just like loose manila envelopes that say top secret on them, which is good. Yeah, I've just got these. Don't worry about it. But they stop his car and get out of the car, and like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but they run at this guy with 12 military people around them, and the military people, they'd just be dead, guys. Like, they would just shoot these idiots immediately.
I had the same thought.
And instead they were restrained, and and they're like, no, it's a national emergency. We have to talk to him. And they're like, what? He's like, what is it? And they're like, an asteroid is heading straight for Earth. We then cut to Astronema in the control room of the Dark Fortress. She has gotten back on her like commando gear with her like red bob wig, which is maybe my least favorite of the wigs, but it's fine. I do like that she was like, no, I'm going undercover. I have to put the wig back on. It's important.
Makes sense.
Yeah, of course. That's how. I mean, it would be a big giveaway if she didn't have one on. So she is hacking into the asteroid, and then unfortunately, she is set upon by Ecliptor, and Ecliptor unfortunately has new metal bits on him, and that's how you know he's bad.
He's a
This is the
cyborg.
peak male form. You may not like it.
Yeah, and he's just got like some metal circuitry sticking off of him, and she's like, oh my god, what did they do to you? And then he's like, the same thing that will be done to you. And then he grabs her and they cut away, and I don't like that.
Yep.
It's a little creepy.
Yep.
Her little headset falls on the ground,
Yeah,
too.
her
'cause
headset
the
falls
Rangers
on the
were listening in.
ground. The Rangers are like, oh no, she's been captured. And like, I knew intellectually that she wasn't going to stay good for long, but like she didn't even fix it and like sacrifice herself to get captured. Like it didn't even work.
Yeah.
It's kind of sucks that it's just like, oh nope, that didn't work also. So
It feels very perfunctory of like, we need to have Asura evil right now. Like, we need her to be good for this episode. Okay, in this other episode, the plot's different, so we need her to be back bad again.
yeah. So we then cut down to Nasada, and on the
Hey, Nasada.
on the word of a crazy scientist who's almost blown up Angel Grove like 5 different times, Commander Norquist has summoned not only a bunch of reporters from Angel Grove, but also like CNN and shit. Like he says, like, people of Angel Grove and the world, we're all going to die. Essentially.
Heads up.
I mean,
like-
they must have confirmed this somehow, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm sure that they looked
They
at
looked
it.
at the window and said, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. And again, like, he's like, hey, remember how an asteroid killed all the dinosaurs? That's gonna happen to us. Just so you know, we're all about to die. And like,
Say goodbye to your loved ones.
it's just funny.
Commit any crime you want.
Yes, yeah, looting is legal.
This is the purge.
It's just funny because, like, the degree of detail, again, there's just something about the fact that, like, not only is he like, okay, first, there's a big asteroid that's going to hit the Earth. That's going to kill most of us. Then, water droplets and dust will cover the Earth and we'll enter a new ice age. And we'll all die. It's just like, and we're cutting to, like, people's faces, like just random bystanders. And it's just so jarring in Power Rangers where normally, like, we barely even see civilians when
You know what this reminds me of in a weird way? It reminds me of that, I think it was CO episode where Billy might die in the cold of space.
Yes, yeah, totally.
Because his ship is running out of fuel.
Yeah.
It's a different type of existential horror of like, instead of like, oh, Billy will kill me. No, you will die, and that's almost certain, and you can't do anything.
Right, yeah. And it's just this weird thing where it's like normally the Power Rangers stop a monster. Sometimes you see a couple people running away, but the stakes never seem that big. And then it's like, no, look at all these people. They're all going to die. Literally all of us are going to die. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And then we cut to, like, it's so funny. This must have been pulled from somewhere else. Maybe it's from the Sentai, I don't know, but they literally show like a dinosaur
Maybe.
freezing to death. And it's just like, okay, we get it.
That'd be very
Yeah.
funny. They went and looked at, okay, what's the stuff we have for the Sentai this week? Okay, we have some stuff with a meteor, no giant fire. Okay, sure. Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Freezing?
Maybe
What?
Zoo Ranger. Yeah, maybe they pulled it from Zoo Ranger.
Oh yeah, it could be. It could be from Ranger. So some reporters run up to Professor Phenomenus and are like, "What should our viewers do while we're on the brink of disaster?" And he's like, "They should panic. We should all freak the fuck out." And
Great, you want to say that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so
You should kill each other
yeah,
in mindless, senseless murder because what else is left?
yeah. It's like it's. I know it's played for laughs, but it's just so fucked up. The Rangers are like, okay, well, our last ditch effort is we're gonna summon all three of our big robots and just push. And I will say, I was curious and I looked it up, and that's what you should do. It's space. Like, you only have to change its angle by a little bit, and then it won't hit us. But they...
Yeah, that's a regular asteroid, not a directed asteroid.
Well, sure, yes, that's true. I guess I don't know if it's got an engine
Does
on
it
it.
have an engine? Is it magic?
No, it's programmed. You know, like asteroids.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
Yeah. The Zords have to overcome the programming.
Yes, exactly. They should be hacking the asteroid, but instead they push. This scene is kind of fun. You don't really get to see the it's just cool because it's clearly like little models. Like it's just either the actual toys or like slightly more detailed models pushing a big model of a foam asteroid, and I like it. It's cute. But yeah, they're all pushing this asteroid, and they're like, "Oh no, we don't have enough power." Cut back down to Bulk and Skull and Professor Phenomenus. Didn't really know exactly what they were gonna do with them next, but I didn't expect this, which is that they decide to steal an experimental spacecraft from Nasada and take it into space so they won't die.
Apparently a really easy thing to do. 2 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I have questions.
okay, what are your questions?
Does any of them know? How do any of them know how to fly a rocket?
Yeah.
He's a
off.
Phenomena is a professor. I'm sure he
Yeah.
knows. It's an RPG. He has enough points in like science that he can like bluff his way
True.
with a GM. Be like, yeah, no, I can fly a spaceship with a science roll.
No, yes, and also, why are there only 2 people guarding this experimental spaceship?
Totally, and someone yells, like they hear over the intercom,
Well-
all guards to Area C, and they just leave. This
Well, the thing is, this was all part of Phenomena's plan to cause panic, make the guards leave and go hug their loved ones, and then be able to sneak past the only 2 guards remaining.
yeah, of course, this was his plan all
The
along.
master plan.
Now, when
my
I
God.
saw that,
It all
Yeah.
comes together now. Phenomenus
Yeah,
has been
he's
searching for aliens because his whole plan is to restart the human race with him as the progenitor.
yeah, with him, Bulk and Skull, that's how that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Luke's not here. Somebody's got to come up with the crazy theories.
I mean, hey,
No, what the fuck am I? What do you think I do in this show?
it's true. So when I saw the sign that said experimental spacecraft, I thought for sure that was going to be justification for them to use footage of like a little spaceship, like a Sentai spaceship that was maybe more like a Millennium Falcon style shuttle.
Yeah, I thought it was like, oh, do they get like an extra sword
Right,
thing?
Yeah.
Like, do they get like maybe like an upgrade to one of their swords?
No, it is just a rocket. It's just a rocket, like we have for real in the real world, and they do steal it. And again, Greg. It must be like in TV like cartoons where there is just a button in there that says launch. That's the only way that
There
they
has to
really
be.
want to get off. Yeah,
Has
off the
to be.
ground.
One big red launch button right on the dash. You've got like a few computer screens, one big red button in the middle.
No other controls. You don't need them.
No.
But Bulk and Skull do. I appreciate them because we haven't gotten that much Bulk and Skull lately. They're like, "Excuse me, are we going to steal the spaceship, sir? Sir, Professor Phenomenus."
Sir, are we stealing the space?
And he's like, "Well, do you want to die?" And they're like, "Well, I mean, persuasive argument. I guess we're gonna steal his spaceship." So they go to steal the spaceship. We cut back up, now we just cut again to a throng of onlookers waiting to see their incoming death. As Bulk and Skull and Professor Phenomenus steal a fucking spaceship, which is insane.
Literally launches.
Yep, it launches. We see them screaming as they take off into space. We see Darkonda gloating, and then all the Rangers in all three of the Zords pushing the asteroid and basically saying, "Oh no, we don't have power," and that's it. That's the end of the episode. It's to be continued. And I gotta tell you, I didn't not like this episode, but it took us 40 minutes to cover the whole thing. And if you know us, you know that means there's just not that much there.
There was not.
It's
Also
fine.
the fact that, I mean, it ends on a cliffhanger and then we immediately get next time and you see the preview of the next episode and it's like...
Oh, I stopped it. I was like, no spoilers,
okay.
please. No spoilers.
Does it say... Greg, does it just say, next time, no, we don't all die? Is that how it goes?
Pretty much.
No, they all die. They all die, Sam. Everyone's dead.
That would be...
Except the Power Rangers.
I mean, first of all, to kill everybody in Power Rangers would obviously be insane. To have a TV show be like, and the cliffhanger, next episode, find out if they live, and then you tune in next week for the hour-long TV episode, and they all die in 3 minutes, and then it's just black for 50. That'd be pretty wild. Anyway, it's fine. I mean, the biggest complaint I have about this is how rote Astronema turning back evil is. And especially, and even though they have for 3 or 4 episodes, Dark Spectre has basically been like, no, I can fix it. She can't stay good. I know I can force her to be evil. And so you kind of knew that was going to happen, even if you haven't seen the show or whatever. But her just going back on the ship and just getting grabbed and that's it.
It feels like someone just hit a button that said status quo and they needed to get back to the status quo.
Yeah. And that part kind of bums me out. It's the Bulk and Skull stuff's actually pretty fun, mostly because it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's fine.
That it's they previously have just been kind of screwing around with telescopes, and then it's oh
yeah, we're stealing a rocket ship.
Yeah, we're all gonna die unless we steal a spaceship. It escalates so quickly.
Well, they had to upgrade from stealing a bus in Mighty Morphin. So they're like, well, what can they steal now? And it's rocket ship?
Yeah. How about we steal an entire spaceship with this crazy old man? But yeah, that's the episode. It's okay. I had a pretty good time. But I will say that I had a pretty good time with the Astronema stuff, but now that she's already been grabbed, it basically already feels over. I'm like, okay, I know the Psycho Rangers are next. Let's just get there. Like, let's just get to it.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Greg sorry. I do have some questions. I know I keep promising we'll get to them. I'm still kind of sick and my voice is not doing great, so we are going to hold on to those. If you have some, you can continue to send them to us at Teens with Tude on Twitter. Teenagers with Attitude is our Facebook group. teenswithtude@gmail.com is our email address, and we will get to those. Greg, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Well, we just finished a little, well, I say little, we've got like over 100 episodes now, I guess. Yeah. We did finish reviewing War for Cybertron Kingdom on a little podcast called War and Beast, also on audioentropy.com. The last episode just went up last week, if I remember correctly. And I'm going to do, the behind the blazeball curtain, if I'm going to try and horribly mangle a phrase. The final episode came out and somehow 16 minutes of it got cut off at the very end. So I had to go back through and figure out, oh, hey, why does this program that I've used for the past 5 years decide to suddenly cut 16 minutes off of the final episode? Why did it fuck me
right now? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But, that is out. So if you folks want to give it a listen, overall, the series didn't really stick the landing we felt. It had some interesting bits.
Yeah.
Throughout the season, but
I've heard
the ending was not great.
But didn't stick it that well, which is unfortunate because I feel like I feel like the Netflix stuff, this is the last bit of the Netflix stuff, right?
As far as we're aware, it leaves it, without spoiling it too much, it leaves it very open-ended for future series. But they really, it wouldn't surprise me if there's no follow-through on it. And I'm not lying when I say there really wasn't a lot of talk about this online at all.
Yeah.
Throughout the release of it.
It's unfortunate because I feel like there was some pretty good buzz about the Netflix Transformer stuff when it started, and then kind of maybe it just it didn't do what people were hoping for, and that's too bad.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like the Netflix stuff with Hasbro has been interesting because they also did that weird, they did 2 different He-Man reboots in 3 months. I don't understand what they're doing with their Hasbro stuff, basically. I'm a little confused. So
it's like they're trying to, with the He-Man stuff, it seems like they're trying to cater to both the old fans of the 80s show, and also try and draw in a new demographic with the new show, which, I get the 2 lines of thinking for it. The uproar over the continuation of the 80s show really wasn't worth it, in my opinion. I thought it was a great first half of the series. Interested to see where it goes, and there was a lot of uproar and the main character's a woman and all this sort of stuff, and it's it was I thought it did a really good job overall.
I thought it was fun too.
It's my only complaint is that they were scared, and her obvious girlfriend, they don't call them girlfriends.
Yeah.
That's my only complaint, that they got too scared that people were like, oh no, she has a black girlfriend.
Yeah.
And just did not. It's oh, my good friend, my gal pal.
But I do hope they figure out what they're doing with the Transformer stuff, because like I said, I think it started out pretty fun, and I hope they figure out the next thing for that series, because I feel like, honestly, Transformers is a pretty good hit rate for TV shows. I feel like most of them are at least pretty good. So I don't know. I don't know what's coming next, but yeah.
Yeah. And even over the course of this season, there was some stuff that they did well. And they pulled some stuff from Beast Wars sort of in homage. Like, literally, they pulled an homage of my favorite episode of Beast Wars, which was great to see. And they did a decent job of it. So, I mean, there's definitely some pluses, but there was some stuff that was a bit of a miss. And one of the only things that I really did see online, when we talked about it in the final episode, is the fate of certain characters and how it was handled. Gotcha. And that was one thing that was mentioned. So that sort of put a damper on it.
Well, you should check that out because War and Beast is a very fun podcast. So go check that out on Audio Entropy. And then we'll hear from you guys whenever they figure out what the next series is going to be.
And we'll probably be doing an extra episode once the new movie comes out as well, because, hey, that's going to have Beast Wars characters as well. So
cool. All right. Fabi, is there anything you'd like to plug?
No, but in lieu of my plug, I am going to take us like maybe 5 minutes or less. I do want to do a thing that, so we were talking, news related, we were talking about like, okay, what are the shows like, they're going to do more Power Rangers. I know there's going to be more Sentai, but if let's say none of those are good enough, what do we have left? What have they skipped? What haven't they made?
Okay.
And I went and looked, and there's only 3 series, unless you want to go to pre-Mighty Morphin.
Okay.
Like, stuff before Mighty Morphin, before Zero Ranger. There's only 3 series that they haven't done and that they haven't said they won't do. Okay? So, series number 1 is the newest one. That's Senkaiger. And I wanted to show them to you and see what y'all think. Which one of these would make the most sense for Power Rangers. This is like kind of their anniversary season.
Yeah.
The one plus is that one of the like civilian forms is just a Megazord from Mighty Morphin.
Basically, if you haven't seen this like the main ranger is like a Rainbow Ranger, and he's a human.
So the main ranger is based on Jack, which is one of the series. He's based kind of like on the 6th ranger of that series.
Yeah, and then the rest of the Rangers are robots that look like Megazords from other seasons. It's interesting. Yeah.
So that's one, but my gut instinct says that's either too weird or it has too many callbacks, and maybe they don't want to do that after the fiasco that was Megaforce and Super Megaforce.
Yeah.
So option number 2 is the series right before that. This is Mashin Sentai Kiramanji.
Yeah.
This one I think is probably the one that they might do.
Yeah.
It's all about like gemstones
and vehicles. Yeah.
I could see them doing this. This feels, the designs are like simple and easy, and like they feel very marketable. I could see them doing that. And the one other they have skipped that they haven't outright said no is one that I know a lot of people want done. Kyogre.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the one that came to mind. Minecraft one. Oh.
Yes.
I posted the wrong picture. But yeah, it's the Animal Minecraft one. The Animal Cubes.
Yeah.
Which I could see. But I could also see them not going for that.
I feel like to me, Kyogre without the animal, because if you haven't seen Kyogre, the Red is a human and he goes into like an animal world where everyone is an anthropomorphic animal. And then those anthropomorphic animals are the other Rangers, but they do have like human forms where they just have like cat ears or whatever. But there are these pretty elaborate costumes even when they're like not Rangers. I would imagine they just do that, but don't have that part. Like, just have it be animal themed.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see it. Like, really, I think it's between those two. Like, whatever Sentai happens next, I really think it's between those two. because I just don't see them doing the anniversary one with the robots. Never say never, but like also the main design of the main hero is like half based on Goranger and half based on Jack, and like 2 seasons of Sentai that have not been
Right,
adapted.
that's the thing. I think it.
Some-
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it does wear Dragonsaur armor. My girlfriend is correcting me. So one thing,
but yeah, I do think it's between Joger and Miranger.
yeah, they just feel like the most normal, safe bets
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah,
And
it
based
really
on
does.
the fact that this one season they did like dinosaurs, which is like the safest bet. I feel that's
Animals.
probably what's gonna happen.
animals
here.
like
Animals or gem/vehicles, things they've done in the past.
Yeah,
Not the gem parts, but the vehicle parts for sure.
yeah. Cool.
Anyway, that my brain is fucked up, like in general, and when you mentioned that, I had to go and check
okay.
because I needed to
No
know,
big deal.
and I wanted to share this.
No big deal. Cool.
Really,
well,
I'm
thanks for telling
still
us. Yeah.
wondering when, if ever, they will just outright make a cartoon. Because really, it can't be that much more just to do a cartoon at this point.
That feels like they should have done this, or at least announced it by now.
Yeah.
Honestly, the idea that like at least for me, I feel like I know it would cost more. I get that than literally like reusing footage. I understand that, but Hasbro's a big fucking company. They make cartoons. I feel
Exactly.
like I think that's just a logical way to go, and then you can make whatever you want. Like it doesn't have to be. You can make it the most marketable thing you can imagine, and like
Remember when there was that thing going around that they were gonna make Netflix exclusive shows
Yeah.
that were targeted towards a more adult demographic,
right.
or to a more mature demographic?
And they did that. I can't remember what it was called, but there was that like proof of concept for an animated Mighty Morphin show years ago, and it looked fine. Like I don't.
Here's my pitch. If anyone at Hasbro is listening, get the High School Heroes. It doesn't have robots. It doesn't have fancy stuff. The costumes are very generic. Get that and make it about original Power Rangers instead of Go Ranger, sorry. You could... It's the same colors. You could make that work super
There
easily.
you go. Yeah,
It's not the same colors, actually. It's green instead of black, but you can make it work.
close enough. So with that, Fabi, is there anything you would like to plug?
The Moon Harbor Heroes. I've been doing good work stuff. If you like actual play podcasts about teenage superheroes, go and subscribe to Moon Harbor Heroes and Moon Harbor Heroes Extended. I have done things in both and will continue to do things in both. And everything else, you know who the fuck I am. You know what the fuck I do. Drink some water and take your pills.
Jeez.
Bitch.
Okay, fine. Yes, do that.
Hey, I just drank some water, so I'm halfway there.
You're halfway
Good job.
there.
Everybody hydrate. Hydration check. Please remember to drink water. Take care of yourselves. We love you. Thank you for sticking with us and listening to us. We love doing this show, and we love doing it for you. And Greg, thanks for coming on. Much appreciated.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's been a while. I think it's been since the Ninja Turtle crossover.
Dang. Okay. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and it's always nice to have you. And I'm excited
Thank
to
you.
see whatever they do next with Transformers in the TV show realm. So, all right. With that, everybody, for Teenagers with Attitude, I've been Zach,
I've been Fabi.
And I've been Greg.
and may the power protect you always.
Take a shower. Be nice to yourself. I'm gonna dom our whole fucking entire audience into being good people. Be nice to yourself and to others. We only have each other. Shit is fucked.